Hey party people, welcome to another Canva tip. This time I want to talk about your images and using the effects in Canva to make them match more of your aesthetic so that everything looks like you when you're posting. So one of the things that's great about this, I know there's a lot of tools out there, especially for Instagram, that you can purchase. You can purchase different packages so that you can filter your image all the same way. Well, that's all great, but you are mostly posting on Facebook and Instagram when you have a new blog post or a new video, and that image needs to go on your website as well. So you really need to do the work before you're uploading that picture and adding that filter in Instagram only. So this is a way to kind of come into Canva and get your original design for your blog post that you want to share everywhere and really nail down your aesthetic and your look so that everything looks like you. So everything is branded like you. So I'm going to show you how to use the effects, the filters, and the adjustments in Canva to match what you're going for. So if you don't know what your aesthetic is, that's the first thing you need to look at. So what are your colors? Are they bold and bright? Are they dark and bold? Are they light and airy? Are you using really primary colors? Are you using softer colors? Things like that. So you want to kind of figure out, and also who you are, what's your message. So all back to branding, right? All of that always goes back to branding. This is why that is so important. So you need to know what you are trying to say to your audience, even in the photos that you use. So determine that first. That's the first thing. Then you're going to come into Canva. Finding the perfect photo can be so difficult. And when you do, and you get the perfect photo, but it's just not the right light, or it's too dark, or whatever it happens to be. That's what we're going to talk about today. So here is a lovely picture of a table setting salad. Luckily for you, I'm not here to teach you how to cook. You're welcome. So we're going to work on this photo, and I'm going to show you a couple things. Now, there is no one way to do this. There is no like ABC is your formula. You really have to know who you are, what you want, what you're going for, find the right photo, and then come in and just play with it. So when you click on a photo, whether it's the background photo or not, so I could add another photo on top of this, for instance, but when I click on this photo, the same options pop up as if I click on this background photo. So I'm gonna, actually, there's a color, then we'll show you that too. So if I click on this, effects, filter, adjust, crop, and flip all come in. Flip is pretty obvious. You can flip it horizontally. So if you were trying to place words here in this space, but you wanted it on this side of the page, bada bing, bada boom. Flipping vertical doesn't make sense in this point, but if it's shapes or something like that, that could really work for you. Crop is obvious as well. This one is the background image, so we're not cropping. There's no reason to do that, so we won't work with that. Colors. This doesn't really help you because it just covers your photo. So we don't really want to deal with the color situation. However, you could do something like this. And yeah, sorry, I did that backwards. Play with it like that. Let's see. Here we go. Nope. That's what colors do. Okay, so that's really not helpful at all. But effects, filter, and adjust are the places you're going to live. Effects are something that you can actually download to Canva to work with. You can see right here, most of you are not going to want these kind of effects on your images. So we're not going to dig into these, but it's always fun to play with. So go see what you can do. So let's live in filter and adjust. So first, I'm going to flip my picture back the way I wanted it because in my brain, this is the way it looked. Clicking on this, we can go to the filter, and I mean, just clicking through, you can see what some of these can do. Obviously, that is not appealing. So if I am a foodie, that's not what I'm going for. That's nice, bright, and very intense, but we can chill the intensity down. So some of these are just fun, like start off from the beginning and just play with these. That one was kind of nice. And it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. If you go to this picture and you do the same thing with it, you can see the difference. It's pretty close, but it's got like an old look to it, kind of this has like an Ann Voskamp look to it. And then let's see what it does with this one. So yeah, it's just kind of like, it just gives you off a little bit of effect that you're like, I don't know, down home, like homey, okay? So if that's what you're going for, you can see that I basically did the same thing to all of them with different levels. These numbers right here can tell you like what I've done. This goes the opposite direction, and this feels like, I don't know, the afternoon in 1984 or something. I don't know. So it depends on what you're going for, but play with these. Once you find one that you really like, you can apply them pretty equally to all your photos and kind of get the same effect going. So it makes it real easy. The next time you come in and do a graphic, you're like, oh, I really like this edge filter. I like an intensity between here and here. And it really gives me what I want. So going to go back and get our pictures back to regular status. And there we go. All right, let's see. I think we're back to regular status. Yep, I think we don't want that. None. Okay, so none, you can do that real easily. Just go back to them and hit none. So that takes you back to it's a normal state. Okay, so the next one is adjust. Now this one is more of where I like to live when I'm working with someone's templates that I'm creating for them. This one gives me more options and more control of things like color and stuff like that. So this one for me, I mean, I'm thinking of a specific client. She likes things that are a little bright and a little airy. So we're not even clicked on that one. We're on the wrong one. So here we go. Brightness, as you can see, still lovely, a little bit brighter, and we'll be able to see some black text maybe a little bit easier. So I'm going to change this to black. That's blue. There we go. And now I can see this a little bit easier than if I had left it the way that it was. So if you come back here, you can hit reset and it goes right back. So you can see I cannot see that black text, but when I adjust it bright, I can. Okay, great. So that's number one. Saturation or contrast is the next one. So that one can make things go a little wonky. Like now you can't really tell things like what their background is. It's a little too much. Going backwards makes it a little too dark. If you ever have problems getting it at 0, just go right back to 0 and there you go. Saturation is the amount of color, like you'll see. Just again, play with these things and really get a look that you're going for. You can tint it. If you have a weird like color going on the picture, you can tint it to another color. You can make it a little bit blurry or a lot of bit blurry or a little bit blurry, or you can even make it less blurry. So this kind of makes it even pop out a little bit. So it's less blurry than original. It's kind of interesting. You've set it to 0. You don't realize it's really blurry at all until you go backwards. You're like, oh, that becomes so much clearer. I'm specifically looking at the lettuce there. X process is kind of this, you can see what it does. It gives us the little yellowy tint, sunny tint, or goes into the green blues. So this will, I'm not an expert on what all these things specifically mean. I just know what I like to see with my pictures, and so that's what I'm working with. Vignette is the kind of like darkening the edges. That I do know what it means. And usually it's in a circle frame, so it won't square frame it for you, but it'll circle frame it for you. So that's one option, but it's always black. The vignette is always black. So that's, there we go. So no vignette. There you go. So if we take this, we've changed the brightness and the blur. And that's it on this particular one. If we go to the next picture and we apply the same things to it, so 66, The blur, I think, was 29. You can see it doesn't do for us what we want it to do necessarily. I think this was negative 29. Yeah, negative 29. You could just type those things right in there. Okay, that doesn't really give us what we were going for on this one in particular. So you can see the difference. So here, I don't want to blur it at all. And it was already pretty bright. So this is at 0. So I'm just going to brighten it a little bit. Now, this one has way more blur on it than this does. It's just the original picture itself. But maybe I want to blur it just a little bit. No, not really. Sharpen it maybe just a little bit. Not really. Maybe this one is one of the ones that we kind of go back to filter. And we do something like this with it. And then we go back to adjust and we brighten it. I don't know. So as you can see, like this just takes some time to get things working together. And maybe this picture doesn't need anything. Maybe this works with that just fine. I would probably lighten it a bit. So I'm going to brighten it just a bit. There we go. It took some of that blue tint out, if you noticed. And I might even... No, tints are real fun. There we go. I might add some X process to it to give it more of that little yellowy effect that this one has. So that is pretty close. Contrast. Do we do anything with contrast on this one? No. See them all. Okay. Nope, that's not the one I was thinking. Saturation. 0. Okay. So you can see that these little effects and adjustments make a big difference. Okay, back to this one. I think we need to make sure it's none. There we go. And adjustments, none. Okay. So this is looking a little different than these, but I love the color. Like we're definitely on a theme here. We're actually talking about, dinner maybe, snacks, most importantly, coffee. So we want to do kind of the same things here, make it a little brighter. And already this is working for us. Like this is really working with all of these. Now, let's add a little vignette to this. Just a little. Let's add a little vignette to that. Just a little. And let's add one to this. Just a little. And you can see I didn't do exactly the same levels. And it didn't really, to the naked eye, you really couldn't do much. But I'm telling you, like, once you're scrolling through your Instagram account and looking at all your images, just little changes like that will make everything match. So here we go. Things like this here. Copy, paste. Maybe we put this down here. So now we have a little situation. Nothing wrong with making this white there, by the way. Just so you know, all your text doesn't always have to be the same color. Some people make that choice and it's a great choice, and some people don't. It's totally fine. So anyway, that's just some of the fun effects and adjustments you can do all by yourself in Canva to make things really look like they're one brand from one person, even though they're totally different images. Hopefully that helps. If you have questions, let me know. I'd love to answer them for you. Have a great day.